All right. So remember, mute yourself so you're not speaking. And I'm going to start as soon as I start the webinar. I'll start interpretation.
Got it.
All right, here we go. Good luck, guys. Good morning and welcome to this virtual event that will focus on the special programs that we offer at Dallas ISD to students at the elementary level. Buenos días y bienvenidos. Si quieren escuchar esta presentación en español, por favor busque el símbolo del mundo en la parte inferior de la pantalla. Pulse en él para escoger la interpretación en español. Y si esto no funciona, por favor, salga e inténtelo de nuevo. Si aún no se puede conectar, por favor, déjenoslo saber a través de la sección de preguntas Q y A, que también se encuentra en la parte inferior de la pantalla. We're so glad that you were able to join us this morning because you'll get to hear a lot more about the new application for all of these programs and about the programs themselves. We have some incredible opportunities for students at this level. Before I introduce Executive Director Keisha Crowder-Davis, who will tell you all about the application process, I want to remind you that if you already know the program that you want to apply for, you can go to www.dallasisd.org/choose-dallasisd and start applying. We have folks on the phone right now ready to help you if you run into any problems. You can call 972-925-5560 and they're ready to help you out. They will be there until 2 o'clock today and from 7:30 to 5 o'clock every day during the week. Now let's welcome Keisha Crowder-Davis.
Good morning, Dallas ISD families. Thank you for spending your morning with us. We're here to help you choose a best fit school for your students. We're here to help you discover all of the awesome programs that we have in Dallas ISD. Next slide, please. I don't see the slide.
Well, let's just, just tell us about it without the slides.
All right. What we did in Dallas ISD this year, we went over some change management. We currently had an application for all of the various programs in Dallas ISD. If you wanted to apply to a pre-K school, there is a separate pre-K process. If you wanted to apply for an OTI school, there is a separate application process and portal. If you applied for a magnet school, there was a separate application. Two-way dual language program was a separate application. But what we've done, here we are. Now the slide. Let's talk about it. Okay, our Choose Dallas ISD, we have, go back, keep going. All right, we'll start right there. All right. In Dallas ISD, there are amazing programs. Your first choice is always your neighborhood school. Your second choice are the choice programs that we have, the various programs that I kind of mentioned earlier, the OTI schools, the magnet programs, the dual language, and the pre-K programs. Next slide. All right, here is where I was talking about the change management that we had to undergo. We had a decentralized application process. I said earlier you were able to apply to an OTI school within a separate portal, and you would receive an acceptance letter. You are able to apply to two magnet schools in a separate portal and receive an acceptance letter for that school. Collegiate Academy, the same thing. So we had all of these various application processes and programs where our students could receive an acceptance letter. What we've done now in our Choose Dallas ISD portal, we've created one centralized application where families, you have the ability to apply to all of these schools By ranking your 5 choices, only 2 of them may be a magnet school. So you can apply to OTI schools, magnet schools, transfers, IB programs, dual language, all on one application and receive one optimal offer based on how you rank your choices. Next slide, please. The rationale for change. We heard you, families. We heard you tell us about how confusing it was to apply to all of the programs. So we wanted to make a one-stop shop for you, families. We wanted you to be able to search, apply, and enroll online. We wanted you to be able to rank your top 5 choices. We wanted to have a unified process and timeline for you. So right now, families, you're able to apply. The application opened November 5th, I believe, and it's not closing until January the 31st. That's for all of the various programs. Next slide. All right, here is our portal. The very first thing that you're able to do is visit our school finder. Our school finder is our shopping mall. This is your first option. It's always your neighborhood school. So when you look in this portal, when you look at School Finder, you're able to search by neighborhood. So you can put in your home address, your grade level, and your neighborhood school will populate. Next slide. Your second choice to search for schools is by program. You're able to search by program for the various schools you're interested in. Let's look here. I'm going to walk you through how the new portal works. So families, you're able to select 5 choices, as I said earlier. So the example that I have here is a high school example, but I'll use it. First choice, the parent put in Booker T. Washington. Transportation is provided for all of our special programs. Second choice, City Lab High School, which is a transformation school. The third choice that the family selects is Madison P-Tech Collegiate Academy. The fourth choice is Hillcrest IB program, which is a neighborhood school. The fifth choice is Gilliam Early College High School. What happens after families go and you sit for your assessments or your interviews for the various programs? We're using an optimizer tool that is going to take all of the buckets where you have applied, put them together, and it will shake out one optimal acceptance based on how you ranked your school. Now, you will receive waitlist data, but you'll only receive one acceptance. I know in the past, parents, you've received several emails or several notices in the mail that you've gotten into the particular schools. Right now, you're only going to receive one acceptance, and you will be able to accept that via an online portal. You'll receive an email, so there's no more waiting for the mailman to come to deliver a letter. You will immediately receive your acceptance information. Next slide. If you visit www.dallasisd/choose-dallasisd, you're able to see all of the programs that we have available and find out information about those various programs. You're able to click on the P-Tech, find out about P-Tech. You're able to click on, since we're here, you're able to look for magnet schools that are elementary schools. Montessori's, you're able to look at the dual language elementary schools, our personalized language learning schools, and if you hover over the icons, there's a description of what personalized learning offers. You're able to see the schools. You're able to see a video about the particular school, and you're able, if you click on dual language Montessori magnet, to find out the available slots for each school. Next slide. All right. We're here also today. There will be virtual open houses going on after this session. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Carmen to kind of explain that.
Awesome. Thank you for that information, Keisha. As you can see, there's new tools that we have to find the best fit school for your students and to apply, make the process so much easier. So I hope that is what you're experiencing out there as you're applying for these schools. If you do run into any issues, I just want to remind you that you can call us today until 2 at 972-925-5560 or between 7:30 a.m. and 5 during weekdays. Before we start with the programs, I also want to remind you about the great opportunity that Keisha just mentioned, that we're offering, because of course, normally we would have a big event and everybody will be there in person and you can visit the schools, but unfortunately the circumstances we're living through do not allow for that kind of in-person interaction. So we wanted to create an event that gives you as close an experience to that. And so that's why we're having Zoom meetings for all of these schools that we're talking about today. So you can visit with them and you can ask questions about those particular schools. The principals will be there. There will be other staff, probably teachers. Some schools will have parents too, so you can ask questions of them. So we really encourage you to hang out till 11:30 and go to those links and visit with the schools. We're going to be answering questions at the end of the presentations, but you can feel free to ask the questions now, and we'll be answering them in order, and some that we also receive through email. We're going to throw those into the mix. So we're happy to do that today too. Now we're going to hear about some of the programs at the elementary school level. And our first one is one of those that's foundational for the success of students. I'm not sure if you have heard this statistic, but 90% of the human brain development happens before age 5. So in studies have shown that children who attend pre-K are more likely to succeed in school, more likely to graduate, and more likely to go to college. So we are going to now look at a video about our wonderful pre-K program so that you can learn more about that. And then we'll hear from the experts in that area.
A child's brain develops faster during ages 0 through 5 than at any other time, especially when exposed to high-quality, enriching learning experiences. Pre-K programs are essential in teaching children social skills, emotional development, and academic readiness. Dallas ISD pre-K programs provide an environment for children to explore, learn with peers, and build self-confidence.
I feel like pre-K has boosted my daughter's confidence. Ever since coming here, she's reading better, she's recognizing her words and letters better, and she's even helping her little brother learn.
In a Dallas ISD pre-K classroom, children's literacy skills are nurtured in a language-rich environment. Teachers help children strengthen these important literacy skills by introducing new vocabulary during daily read-aloud time, having children talk about books, learn rhymes, sing, and practice language use through two-way conversations with others.
We have a lot of fun in a classroom.
To build critical thinking, teachers engage students through asking thought-provoking questions to give children opportunities to express ways of thinking. Let's not forget about creative movement and art expression. Both give children additional opportunities to build confidence.
I would tell a family that pre-K is awesome, it's super important, and they should definitely get their kids enrolled as soon as possible.
Give the gift of a brighter future. Enroll your child in Dallas ISD pre-K today.
Great, so now we will hear from our early learning experts.
Good morning, my name is Yesenia Ramirez. I am the director over the pre-K registration program in Dallas ISD. So as Mari Carmen mentioned earlier, yes, so a child's brain development develops very quickly from the time they're born up until they're 5 years old. And we know that our students that actually attend pre-K, whether it's at pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, actually perform much higher academically compared to the students that don't attend pre-K. And they develop their social skills much quicker compared to the peers that do not. So for us, we really encourage our students, our families to really think about and consider to registering their child either in a pre-K 3 or in a pre-K 4 program that we have here in Dallas ISD. Next slide. So we have different types of programs here, and I always share with parents to really think about and consider what program is best for your child, right? So with our transformation and magnet schools, we have Montessori pre-K programs. Some of our schools that are listed here would start at either at a pre-K 3 or at a pre-K 4. Any Montessori school, the pre-K 3 is a full day program where traditionally it's only a half day. We have our art school, which is Martin Luther King. We have personalized learning, which is at Sam Houston. Their programs start at pre-K 4. And then we have single gender schools, which is solo prep for girls and solo prep for boys that they also start at pre-K 4. And there are 2 magnet schools, which are also Montessori, which is Dealey and Harry Stone, and they both start at pre-K 4. Next slide. So how do you apply for a choice school program? So one is, just like Mari Carmen mentioned earlier, you have to go to our website of dallasisd.org/choose Dallas ISD. You have the opportunity, like Ms. Keisha mentioned earlier, you'll be able to apply up to 5 schools, 2 magnets, and the remainder could be transformation schools. You have up until January 31st to complete those. The next step would be, once you have been selected, the selection piece will be starting in March, and you'll be receiving an acceptance letter, and then you get to choose to deny or decline the acceptance to apply for pre-K at those choice schools. And step number 3 will be you'll be submitting a pre-K online registration for pre-K. So you apply for a choice program, you'll receive an acceptance letter in March. And then the third part would be you'll be applying for pre-K also at the end of March and beginning of April. Next slide. So how do you qualify for pre-K? It is a state and federal requirements to qualify for free pre-K, but there are different ways you can have your child participate or qualify. One will be with the Texas Education Agency. And listed, you'll see the different types of ways that a family can qualify for free. But if your family does not qualify by the state guidelines, then you can apply, or you may be qualified for a Dallas ISD pre-K scholarship. The difference between that and the the TEA version is the income bracket for a scholarship is much larger. The student group with historic academic needs would be African-American students that we have seen over the past several years in Dallas ISD. So if a student's African-American, they automatically will qualify for a scholarship. If the student is unable to comprehend or speak the English language, then the parent has a right to ask, hey, I would like my child to be tested through the language proficiency test, and they may be able to qualify for a scholarship as well. If a family does not qualify through either the state guidelines or through a Dallas ISD pre-K scholarship, then the family has the opportunity to pay tuition if they would like to receive the amazing pre-K program that Dallas ISD offers. So you can qualify by state guidelines, qualify for a scholarship, or you can actually pay for tuition. Next. So for more information, I actually have my team is actually currently live. You can call our pre-K hotline right now with specific questions. Our telephone number is 214-932-7735, and they'll be there to answer your questions. But if you prefer to text like I do, you can text us at 972-687-7735. You can also send us an email at prek@dallasisd.org. But definitely, like I said, if not, if there's a couple of more questions on how you qualify, you can always visit our website at prekdallas.org. And I'm so excited to hopefully see the new faces for pre-K 3, pre-K 4 in our choice schools.
My husband and I, when our son was about to enter into kindergarten, we were excited that there was a dual language program offered.
As a parent, I'm very involved me and my wife are very involved in our kids becoming successful education-wise.
We thought it was really important for our kids to be able to have an opportunity to be exposed to another language and to learn about other cultures and through learning a different language.
It gives them an opportunity to be more sociable and have other network opportunities and be able to communicate on other levels besides the environment level that they're at.
just as we see our city and our culture so influenced by Spanish culture, we've loved our kids having a broader understanding of the language and being able to learn a language alongside their native English language.
But I would recommend it for anybody to do it. I mean, we're trying to have a better society, and it starts with our younger children. So I think in order for her to be a great leader, she has to pick up something extra like this, and I think this will benefit her.
Great. So now we have our dual language program, folks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Gloria Bastidas. I am here representing our dual language programming for the Dual Language ESL department. Our awesome dual language program offers students the opportunity to learn how to speak, write, listen, think, and speak in both languages, English and Spanish. Because our students are learning in two languages, their thinking skills are strengthened and their problem-solving skills are fine-tuned. In addition to these cognitive benefits, our students become also very globally aware and are more culturally diverse as they grow as dual language learners. Next slide, please. Our program in elementary is as follows. Students in pre-K first grade receive content instruction 70% in Spanish and 30% in English. Beginning in second grade through fifth grade, their instruction is received 50% in Spanish and 50% in English. With 73 elementary two-way dual language programs across the district, the choices for dual language programming are vast. We highly encourage your students to apply for the experience and skill set that they will grow in the dual language program that will give them the opportunity to be competitive in the global marketing when they enter the workforce. Next slide, please. We are expanding our elementary two-way dual language program to 6 more elementary schools in 2021-2022. These schools are Arlington Park Early Childhood Center, Pre-K3 and Pre-K4. Adelfa Botello Callejo Elementary, Pre-K4 through kindergarten. Hotchkiss Elementary, Pre-K3 through first grade. Urban Park Elementary, Pre-K3 through kindergarten. Montessori Academy at E.D. Walker, Pre-K3 through Pre-K4. J.N. Irving Elementary, Pre-K3 through kindergarten. So as you can see, there are several choices when considering a two-way dual language elementary school to attend. Next slide, thank you. All right, so now I would like to introduce you to an elementary stakeholder that is here today to help us answer some questions that you may have. Welcome, Mr. Michael Ruiz, principal at two-way dual language Geneva High Elementary, former assistant principal at secondary dual language Woodrow Wilson High School, and former dual language teacher. Mr. Ruiz, welcome.
Gracias, Gloria. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the introduction. I am the proud principal of Geneva Heights Elementary. We do have a two-way dual language. It starts in pre-K4 and works all the way through fifth grade. And that first parent you saw speaking in that video is Jen Dawkins, and she is actually our SBDM chair. So the experience she's talking about is the experience she's had at our school. I've had the privilege of being a dual language teacher, being part of the bilingual cadre, which was the group of teachers that trained other teachers. So I've worked with the dual language department. The experience has been incredible, and the benefit that I see for our students has been remarkable. So when we talk about two-way dual language, one little thing that I'd like to maybe make the distinction, I feel like is the question I get the most. So I'm gonna try to anticipate it. When we talk about dual language, actually dual languages across the board. It's a service that our English language learners receive, but it's also a program that people who want to learn Spanish can opt into. So if we allow opt-ins, if we allow English dominant students to come in and learn Spanish, that makes it a two-way program because it's serving both communities. I'll be glad to answer any questions. It's an honor to be here, and I love the work that everybody's putting together, from early learning to this application. Having worked at magnet schools before, I can tell you that the application process was always a headache, and this is incredibly streamlined. So a lot of work went into this.
All right.
Great.
So for more information regarding elementary two-way dual language programs, please visit our webpage. For questions about specifics of the program, please email us using the email address listed. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all that information. That was great. And for both programs, I just want to take a second to remind you that if you want to start your application for any of these schools right now, you can go to www.dallasisd.org/choose Dallas ISD. If you need help or have questions about these schools or the application itself, again, we have folks standing by right now to help you at 972-925-5560. And let me tell you, there is no question too small for them. They are like true experts. I've used them. I've had to call them and say, okay, what is this? How do I do this? And they help like that. They're really amazing. And they are going to be there until 2 p.m. today. And if you have any questions right now that you want our panel of experts to answer, and a lot of you have already submitted them, you can do it so in the Q&A panel, and we will get to them after the presentations. Now, let's take a look at what our magnet programs have to offer.
Your student can achieve more in a Dallas ISD magnet program. These schools of choice offer unique opportunities and experiences. Your student has access to college preparatory courses and specialized thematic curricula that investigate today's career choices. Magnet school programs include visual arts, talented and gifted, leadership, STEM, communications, and much more. Your student can pursue academic pathways based on his or her individual interests and learning style. And magnet school graduates go on to be leaders and innovators in college and beyond. Choose a Dallas ISD magnet school and its high-quality, diverse programs for your scholar. Apply at dallasisd.org/choose Dallas ISD.
Great. Now we'll hear from our magnet experts.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Rubio, and I'm the magnet coordinator in the Centralized Enrollment and Magnet Department. I'm happy to be here today to tell you more about our district's magnet programs. So what are magnets? The purpose of Dallas ISD Magnet Schools is to offer unique educational opportunities and allow students access to have college preparatory courses and specialized thematic curricula that investigates and explores today's career choices. Next slide, please. One of the main differences between magnet schools and other choice programs is magnet schools have eligibility criteria. Students have to meet a minimum report card, GPA, and a minimum standardized test scores. For most of our programs, a 75% grade point average is required on the student's most recent report card. This year, because the district did not administer the STAR test, we are taking the 40th percentile on the fall ACP reading and math. We are taking the 40th percentile on the beginning of the year MAP reading and math. Now for our talented and gifted programs, the eligibility is higher. The grade point average is 80%, with the exception of KB Polk, which offers a tag and fine arts focus and has a 75% GPA. As for the standardized test scores, these schools require the 70th percentile on fall ACP reading and math, or 70th percentile on the beginning of the year MAP reading and math. The elementary schools having higher eligibility criteria are William B. Travis, Sudie Williams, Mark Twain Tag, and School for the Talented and Gifted at Pleasant Grove. Now, once these requirements are met, the magnet school will notify the parent of a magnet assessment. The school will reach out to the parent and schedule that assessment. Next slide, please. The next part of the magnet process is a selection process. All students who pass the magnet assessment move into the selection process. The top 30% of seats are awarded district-wide by rank ordering applicants based on overall assessment score, without consideration of feeder pattern or sibling status. The remaining 70% of the seats are distributed across the district's feeder pattern to ensure a diverse student population. This is also subject to our sibling status. The sibling rule applies to our pre-K through 8th grade Montessori schools, in which in-district siblings are placed first. The sibling preference applies to our 4th through 8th grade programs, in which qualified siblings are awarded 5 extra points on the magnet assessment. With this selection process, qualified in-district students will be seated first, followed by any qualified out-of-district students. Next slide, please. Our magnet programs offer 10 elementary school options. Next slide, please. The options for elementary programs include our Talented and Gifted programs, which are Mark Twain School for the Talented and Gifted for grades 1 through 5, School for the Talented and Gifted in Pleasant Grove for grades 4th through 8th, Sudie Williams Talented and Gifted, grades 4 through 8th, Trinity Heights Talented and Gifted, grades 1st through 8th, and William B. Travis Talented and Gifted, grades 4 through 8th. All these schools have the same eligibility criteria of 80% grade point average and 70% on the standardized test scores. Next slide, please. Our other options are our Montessori programs, which are George Bannerman Dealey Montessori and Harry Stone Montessori. These programs are pre-K 4 through 8th grade. Our other programs include JP Stark's Math, Science, Technology Vanguard, which focuses on math, science, and technology for grades 4 through 8. KB Polk Fine Arts Talented and Gifted, which offers fine arts and talented and gifted programs for grades 4 through 7, and Sidney Lanier Expressive Arts Vanguard, which focuses on fine arts in grades 4 through 8. As you can see, we offer several options for our elementary students. We encourage you to apply, and if you have any additional questions or need assistance, you may reach us at 972-925-5560. Thank you and have a great day.
It's a fact. Boys and girls have different learning styles in the areas of math and technology, and each gender benefits from different teaching techniques. Here are the top 5 things you should keep in mind when considering a single-gender academic program for your student. Confidence and individuality are nurtured to empower your student to pursue his or her dream. Students grow in circles of sisterhood and brotherhood. The classroom environment supports movement and creativity. Friendly competition and collaboration prepare students to bring out the best in one another. An all boys and all girls school setting fosters empathy among students. Choose a Dallas ISD single gender program and help your student thrive in college and a career while developing character and leadership skills today. Apply at dallasisd.org/choose Dallas ISD.
Great, and now we get to hear from our OTI folks.
Good morning. My name is Kristen Watkins, and I am a director in the Office of Transformation and Innovation. Our goal is to provide a best fit school for every Dallas ISD family. Our transformation schools are open enrollment campuses designed around an innovative instructional model such as exploratory arts, leadership, Montessori, STEM, STEAM, personalized learning, technology, and project-based learning. There are no academic entry requirements, and transportation is offered within district boundaries. Online applications to transformation schools are accepted annually from November through January. Students are selected through a lottery, and offers are generated based on the number of seats available in each grade level. The student's priority group and then the randomly assigned lottery group. Research shows socioeconomic diverse schools offer better learning environments for all students regardless of their background. The Office of Transformation and Innovation has adopted this approach for several of its transformation schools. For designated 50-50 socioeconomic diversity schools, students are entered into either the economically disadvantaged lottery group or the non-economically disadvantaged lottery group based on the student's socioeconomic status. Next slide, please. Let's take a look at the various transformation school choices. Next year, families have 4 Montessori options, including Mata Montessori, Montessori Academy at Hernandez, Downtown Montessori, and Montessori Academy at E.D. Walker. We also have a personalized learning pathway that allows students to begin their journey at Personalized Learning Preparatory at Sam Houston and then continue their personalized learning journey in our Transformation Secondary PL schools. Next slide. Solar Girls and Solar Boys provide school students with a single gender STEAM experience in which their confidence and individuality are nurtured to foster the importance of an inclusive society. Students grow in circles of sisterhood and brotherhood. At Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Arts Academy, students can explore dance, visual arts, piano, and orchestra. Next slide. We also have exciting choices at our innovation campuses. Innovation schools are neighborhood schools that offer a redesigned curriculum while maintaining their current identity. If you live in the neighborhood, you simply can attend that school. Students who live outside the school attendance zone can attend if space is available. Next slide, please. Several of our innovation schools offer personalized learning at the elementary and secondary levels. Personalized learning is a one-size-fits-one approach to instruction that puts students in the driver's seat of their own learning. In personalized learning environments, students are supported in becoming self-directed learners by using their voice to choose what, how, when, and where they learn to solve problems that are relevant in their own lives and communities in which they live. Lorenzo de Zavala offers Montessori, and this year, Hogg New Tech Center joined the New Tech Network, and this model emphasizes project-based learning and technology for grades pre-K through 5. Next slide, please. We also are proud to provide international baccalaureate STEAM and STEM choices in various elementary and secondary schools. The Dallas ISD IB schools are on a mission to grow global change makers. Our IB programs offer challenging academic environments that develop inquiry, knowledgeable, and caring young people who take an active role in creating a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding, ownership, and respect. IB high school students also begin to earn college credit. At STEM and STEAM campuses, students engage in hands-on activities such as robotics, experiments, computer coding, and the deep problem solving that prepares them for an early age for careers in high demand. Next slide, please. Students also have the opportunity to attend innovation schools that include leadership, global service learning, and expeditionary learning models. Please be sure to visit the information sessions later today that the schools are providing to find a best fit school for your student. Our transformation and innovation schools have been designed with your child in mind. We look forward to receiving your application to the schools of your choice. Thank you, and I will send it back to our communications team.
family chooses Dallas ISD because I am a Dallas ISD graduate. Having my girls here, they've done very well these last 2 years. So Dallas ISD will forever be ingrained in our family.
My family chooses Dallas ISD because I went to Dallas ISD. We're one of the lucky ones that have really great schools where we are. There's no reason to pay for it if you can get a great education for free.
No, yo elegí a Dallas ISD porque pues para nosotros es buen sistema y nos gusta todo lo que ofrecen.
Because we're both products of public school system and believe in what it can do.
And with so many, or with such a variety of programs, there's no doubt that we'll find the right fit for our children.
Hay como más oportunidades para que ellos se puedan desarrollar en un futuro.
I choose Dallas ISD because of the school choice. There's so many options, there's so many different programs, and I think that Dallas caters to all students.
So I hope that this has given you a lot of information, these presentations. We certainly enjoy learning about all of these programs. The information today is about the elementary school level, and a lot of you have a lot of questions about these programs. Feel free to keep adding them in the Q&A. We'll try to get to as many as we can, and we'll start answering them now. So my family has adopted a child who was in the foster care system, which qualifies him for free pre-kindergarten. I filled out the application, but didn't see anywhere where that information would be entered. What is the process? Yesenia, can you answer that? Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I always do that. So can you rephrase the question again? It's specifically from...
So this parent, and this is a question that came in from email this morning. My family has adopted a child who was in the foster care system, which qualifies him for free pre-kindergarten under Texas guidelines. I filled out that the application for one of the specialty schools, but didn't see anywhere where that information would be entered, that they were in foster care. What is the process?
So great question. So you will not see that question yet. So step one, which is what you just did, you actually applied for the choice school program, whether it was a transformation or the magnet program. That step is designed first to see if you're going to be accepted or your child will be accepted for that specific school or program. You will be receiving in acceptance letters in March. Once you receive the acceptance letter, then step two would come into play, which is actually applying for pre-K and qualifying for pre-K in that selected school. And that is where that information piece comes into play. So the piece we're doing right now is just applying for either the lottery for the transformation school or the academic needs for the magnet. But step two will not happen until after the acceptance letters have been received and you as a parent accept that seat, potential seat at the campus, and then you will have to apply for pre-K, and that's when you get qualified.
Awesome. So there's there's a question about that a parent entered, and I think you may have answered it in the Q&A, but she's for anyone else who might actually have the same issue. She tried to apply for pre-K programs, but the application only gave her 3 options. Does pre-K work a little different in the application process?
Yeah, and I was able to answer her back. So she went through she was currently applying for the current school year for pre-K, just for a regular pre-K. So a great way to tell the difference between if you're applying right now through our old application is you only have 3 choices. The application you're looking for, which is, the website we mentioned earlier, is for the transformation and magnet acceptance that we talked about earlier, and it gives you up to 5 choices, 2 magnet and 3 transformation. So if you see 3, we're in the wrong application, wrong link. That's what we tell everybody, please go to Choose Dallas. website, and that's the link that you want to go to.
And that is, I
And
think
another way,
that's an excellent point to make. And Keisha wants to jump in there, but we have to, because we still have the current year and we get students applying all the time. We do have 2 systems going, but Keisha can probably give you more information about that.
yes, I was going to say the easiest way to access the Choose Dallas ISD website is to go to the homepage, www.dallasisd.org. In the middle of the page, you'll see a schoolhouse. If you click on that schoolhouse, it says Choose Dallas ISD. It will take you to our Choose Dallas ISD website. And at that time, or at that point, you're able to apply for the various programs. So you're not having to go and search for the application. If you click on that little icon, the schoolhouse on the front page, it takes you directly to our Choose Dallas ISD website.
Excellent. So yes, we apologize for, a little bit of confusion that these 2 systems, but we can't turn the other one off. So yes, everything is Choose Dallas ISD. Just remember that part. So this is a question the great thing that you're here, Keisha. So when will parents receive their acceptance letter or their acceptance notification? Do we have a target date?
We do. March 1st, you will receive your acceptance email that tells you to go and log on to your dashboard, and you'll receive all of your information.
So make sure definitely that the email that you're using in your application, it's available to you in March, because that's where you'll get the.
Right. And you'll also receive, if you opt in to texting notifications, you'll receive a little text message that tells you today is the day you receive your acceptances. So log into your parent dashboard, which is a part of the Choose Dallas ISD application.
So, and what if I don't hear anything by March 1st and I had 5 choices? What does that mean? And what are the next steps for me?
If you don't hear anything, I would reach out and contact the phone number 972-925-5560 or email choose@dallasisd.org, because everyone that applies to this portal through this portal will receive a status notification. No matter what the status could be accepted, waitlisted, or accepted or waitlisted. So you will receive a status notification. So if you do not hear anything by March 1st, first thing I would do is log back into the application portal and verify the email address that you added to the application, or verify the text message phone number that you signed up with, and then contact the One Center. We have our one-stop shop enrollment centers, or our One Centers, that are located across the district. We're here to provide support and assistance to you. So reach out and we're here to help.
Excellent. And just, a reminder that, we normally do offer this help in person, but because of the situation that we're living now, and, we're hoping by next fall, when all these applications, mean that your kid can go to the school that they were accepted in, that we'll be able to do it in person and everything will be great. That is our hope. So we are, we're doing the process as if that's going to happen. Of course, if we need to adapt for anything, we will, because that's what we've been doing. And we love all our students, and we want to give them the best education possible under any circumstances. So yes, because there was a question in the Q&A about how the pandemic would affect this, and right now the effect that it's having is that we're providing all this assistance virtually, and we'll continue to do so. And we will provide. We have webinars like these through January, and in fact we have some towards the end, if you have, that we're going to concentrate on answering questions about the actual application process. So definitely we'll be there for you if you need any assistance. And this might actually be for you too, Keisha. Do transfers count as they're included in the 5 choices that you make in the application?
They are. One of the things we wanted to do, I said earlier, was some change management. So student transfers sat in its own portal. So families, if you are applying to a school that is not your neighborhood school, you're able to apply for a transfer through this portal. And it is included in your 5 choices.
And so kind of a follow-up, see, you like once you answer a question, you're there. I'm like, ooh. But I guess this is kind of related. So what is the reasoning to include your neighborhood school in the top 5 ranking for the schools? Wouldn't the neighborhood school be automatic entry, not requiring a ranking? Or is there a benefit to add it to the list?
No, your neighborhood school should not be included in your ranking if you're choosing a school outside of your neighborhood school. Then it's included. If you are zoned by your address to attend Geneva Heights, that is your school. So you do not have to include that in your ranking. When you're searching School Finder, it comes up that this is your neighborhood school and these are the offerings that are at that school. But if you're wanting to go to any other school, that's when you use the portal.
Right. Or if you're applying to one of these programs that is in a neighborhood, even in your neighborhood
at the
school.
campus, correct.
Right.
Mari Carmen, if I could just pop in really quick from a perspective, transfers, while they are included in your 5 schools, that doesn't mean you're limited to 5 transfers, right? So if your choice goes through and you ask for transfers, let's say, just off the top of my head, to Lakewood and Mockingbird, who are at capacity, and you don't get that transfer approved, you can still reach out to a campus and request a transfer.
So yes, we're trying to do it all through the application to keep everything ordered and making sense. But yes, I mean, when it comes to transfers, there's the process is a little bit different, but yes, and part of the thing is we never transfers were always at a different time in the school year, and it was just a complicated process. And with this application, we've simplified it. We've made it more accessible. I don't know if you want to address that a little bit more, Keisha.
We did. We wanted to make sure that families were able to find every choice that we have available in Dallas ISD and apply to them. So they are all in this portal. Every school, every choice is in this portal. Your 5 choices can be 2 magnets, OTI schools, P-TECH schools, dual language programs, student transfers, and IB programs. So all of these offerings are in this portal. If you're applying to any of these programs, you will enter this portal to make application. If you are currently on a transfer to any school, you do not have to take action. Your transfer is good for the duration of the grade configuration of that school. So if you applied for a transfer to attend a school at kindergarten and the school goes through 5th grade, you do not have to apply again. You are on the transfer at that school until the end of your 5th grade.
Excellent. So this person would like to understand the optimization process. And I know there are a lot of questions about it because it's new. So for example, if we rank a magnet as number 1 and a choice school as number 2, will we decrease our chances or priority for the second choice option? For example, how the all magnet school ranking process worked. How is that?
Okay. What's going to happen this year? All of this is going on simultaneously. Parents, you're still going to go and do the assessment for the magnet schools. As I said, you're able to apply to up to 2 magnet schools. So you will take both assessments for the magnet schools and receive a stat. The transformation schools, you'll apply and you will go through the lottery for those schools. Okay? So after each assessment or lottery has been held for each of the programs, we'll take each bucket, OTI bucket that has the lottery results. We'll take magnet bucket that has the assessment results, we'll have take the dual language, we'll take the IB, we'll push them all together and shake them together, as I said, and you'll receive, based on how you prioritize your schools, one optimal acceptance. Now, that one optimal acceptance, you could also receive waitlisted information. But we wanted to make sure that you received, based on your ranking, parents, of how you pick your schools, one acceptance. So the lottery will still run for the OTI schools. The assessments for magnets will continue to go on. Okay? So it's very important how you rank your choices.
Okay, great. So we're going to give Keisha a little break and ask a question about early childhood. My daughter has an August birthday and has completed kindergarten at her current preschool. Next year, she will be 6. And at this time, we are unsure if she should repeat pre-kindergarten at her elementary school or go into first grade. Also, what grade should we apply for? And once we get towards the end of the academic year, can we change it if we feel her progress is ahead or behind in pre-kindergarten? Yesenia, I don't know if that's something you want to answer.
Well, I would need a little bit more detail depending what school they're currently attending. I'm not sure if it's a Dallas school or a private school. But according to our state guidelines, so a child to attend kindergarten must be 6 by September 1st, before or by September 1st. And then after that, they'll just move on to the next grade level. So I would need a little bit more detail exactly where they're coming from, but for sure. And that's the same thing with pre-K. So that's actually a good follow-up question. So in order for a student to attend pre-K 3, they must be 3 years old on or before September 1st. And to attend pre-K 4, that must be 4 on or before September 1st. And then that's the same for kindergarten.
Okay, great. So if there are, I don't know, this may not be for you, but if there are limited spots for the grade that we're applying for at our first choice school and more open spots for our second choice school, do we risk losing our chance at the second choice school by prioritizing a school with such limited openings? And I guess that really applies for any school, not just magnet, but OTI. And who wants to tackle that question? No one? Come on, Keisha, you're it.
I guess that's me. I was going to say, tag, I'm it. That's me again. As I said, we wanted to make sure families receive the available openings so that you can make an informed choice of where you would like to put your application in for. It really just depends. There may be 5 openings for a particular school, and at your particular school, but you go through the assessment if it's a magnet school, and you knock it out of the park. You do great. So, your chances are that you probably will receive that seat. But in the OTI schools, there's a lottery, and the lottery will only pull how many ever available seats there are. So it's very important that you look at the opening seats and, prioritize your school.
Okay, great. So this is a question maybe for Nancy in the magnet schools. My child is already in a magnet school and wishes to try for another or a choice school. Do they automatically give up their seat at the current school? We would like to try to get into another school, but want to be able to decide once we know we have 2 options. Nancy?
Okay, so no, they do not automatically give up the seat. The parent would have to notify the school that the student will not be returning. Then at that time, they would be able to fill the seat, but the parent will have to notify the school.
So if I go through like I'm at a magnet school right now and plan to, I'll be going to that school next year, but I want to explore my options. So until I get a letter, like if I get a letter and that says, that doesn't give me the choice that I wanted, I don't have to do anything. I just stay where I am now.
That is correct. Okay. Our system will automatically roll over our students into their current school unless the parent notifies the school that they are not returning.
Okay, great. And this may be for early learning. Do the Montessori magnet special program schools offer pre-K 3 self-contained pre-K 3?
Not the magnet school. So Dealey and Harry Stone pre-K program starts at pre-K 4. It is IWB, well, downtown Montessori, the new E.D. Walker, Onesimo Hernandez, Mata. Their program starts at pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. And then Sam Houston starts at pre-K 4, and the solo prep for boys and girls start at pre-K 4. And Elmo K, I believe, starts at pre-K 4.
Okay, great. So this is a question for maybe Mr. Ruiz, you want to answer this one. This is a question about dual language. Do students learn about each other's cultures when they're in the program, and I guess in the two-way dual language program? What is the language fluency level that they reach at the middle school and high school? There's a parent here who wanted to learn about a little bit more about how the dual language program kind of goes throughout grade levels, if you're interested in that.
Fantastic question. Yeah, I'd love to take that. So yes, right, the dual language department does a remarkable job of finding authentic text that reflects the many cultures. Lots of people, because we are Hispanic, people tend to lump it all together, but they do learn about just the different countries and regions and dialects. So not only that, the proficiency level that they reach all the way through the continuum. So for example, we were the second feeder pattern. The Woodrow Wilson feeder pattern was the second feeder pattern to have a K-12 continuum. The first one was Sunset. So the students I can speak to at Woodrow, my first year there as assistant principal, we started the program. Students in 9th grade are getting ready to take AP Spanish 4. So students in the dual language program typically take AP Spanish 4, AP Spanish 5. So that is content-rich Spanish. That is Spanish language and Spanish literature that they're taking. So they're reading Spanish novels and doing very deep dive just exercises in thinking and processing in Spanish. One of the proudest moments that I had as an administrator was that our students in the dual language program, our first year, all of them passed AP Spanish 4. And for many of those students, that was the first college credit that anybody in their family had ever gotten, and they were freshmen in high school. So the opportunities exist. It is through a feeder pattern. It's just continuous all the way through. You have to opt in. Some families choose to continue that path. Some families choose to pursue other paths. But by the end of 12th grade, the goal is to have students who are academically proficient in Spanish, not just bilingual, biliterate, but academically proficient.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. So for the talented and gifted program, I'm not sure who would get that, but please jump in. And if you don't jump in, I'm just gonna have to choose Keisha. So give her some help. Will there be a talented and gifted class or option for all the school options for elementary students? Is that different from choosing a talented and gifted school? What is the difference and how does that work?
I don't mind.
There is a talented and gifted. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Ruiz.
Okay, well, yes.
Well, I taught at Travis for a few years, so I'm kind of familiar with the TAG program. So the difference is every school in Dallas ISD offers talented and gifted classes. These are typically offered through pull-out. So those students receive services 2 to 3 hours a week. They're pulled out. A TAG teacher teaches them research skills, teaches them a certain accelerated curriculum. At our talented and gifted magnet schools like Travis, Sudi Williams, Mark Twain, every single teacher in the building needs to have those 30 hours to be able to teach talented and gifted students. So every single teacher in the building has the credentials to teach a talented and gifted class. And those skills are embedded through the content. So you are not pulled out. Once you are in the school, there's no more pull-out program because the entire school is run like a TAG program, is basically the kind of best distinction that I can make.
Okay, great. Anything you'd like to add, Keisha? No, all right, perfect. So,
no, he answered perfectly.
Excellent. So yes, it's great to have our principals participate in this because, and especially Mr. Reese, who's like has a lot of experience in different areas. So yeah, we're very happy to have you here with us today. If I guess this is maybe a question for you. If you decline your single offer, do you have the possibility of getting into one of the other four? If, say, you are on the waiting list for a second school, is a second offer made? Or if you decline the first offer, you just don't get any more?
No, when you receive your status on March 1st, you will have your waitlist information and your offer, okay? So if you decline the offer that was made, then you will remain on the wait list for your other choices. Now, the only way you will receive that seat is if someone else declines and you move off of the wait list. So if you decline your offer, know that it is not guaranteed that you will receive a seat because you're still sitting on the wait list for some of the schools.
Right, which is something that's very different from past years because when we had different applications, you might have gotten an offer from a couple of the P-TECH programs, which doesn't really apply to elementary school, but you could have gotten or an offer from an OTI school and a magnet. But now you just get the one offer and waitlisted and others, if that's okay. So actually, this is a parent that would like to actually talk to someone about the dual language program. Where can they reach you guys? I know somewhere there we gave the email, but if you could repeat that, that would be fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. I actually replied to that parent, but I will be more than happy to share our main phone number. That's 972-925-6490. And our email address is going to be duallanguage@dallasisd.org.
Okay, great. So we have a question for, I guess this is, they'd be going into like a magnet school, or they're asking about that. My child is at the ISD pre-K 3 center at her daycare. However, they do not live in a Dallas ISD zip code. When they're ready to move to apply for a school in the district past pre-K, do they need to move to Dallas to be able to do that, or how does that work? And I know this is like the question not related to pre-K, but a question that comes up all the time. Can people outside of the district apply to these schools?
Yes, they can actually, even for our traditional programs. Now, one thing that I will have to say, we would have to verify the birth date again. I know they're currently in pre-K 3, but one of the things we definitely have to verify the birth date to ensure we're gonna have them in the correct placement. And then they'll be able to select and go ahead and, they'll be able to select the application process like they have been for any of the OTI and magnet schools. And that's also traditionally the same for our regular neighborhood schools.
Okay, great. So this is kind of a general question that I'm just going to go ahead and answer, but what is the last date to send in these applications? It is January 31st. So you can make changes. You can do your application and not submit it if you're not entirely sure, but you have got to submit it by January 31st in order for it to be considered. Keisha, is there anything that you want to add to that? All right, so yes, January 31st is a crucial date, and worry not, we will remind you obsessively about that deadline. So you'll probably be getting a bunch of calls from us in January about it. And actually this parent wants to know how they can find out, because obviously we can't really, share specific information about every school here because we would be here all day and, we don't want to abuse your time. But how can we find out about the academic progress for each of the schools? one way I would suggest is to take advantage of the Zoom meetings that are happening after this, starting at 11:30, and visit the school and ask the school. But what is another way, Keisha, that they can find out about the academic progress of the schools that they might be applying for?
If you visit our School Finder, if you go into School Finder and you search by address, you search by program, you'll receive, it's like an electronic brochure of the school. So when the school comes up, you're able to see the programs that are offered at the school. You're able to see the TEA distinctions. You're able to see the progress made at the school. So visit our School Finder. It's very handy. It's right there, and you can find out anything you want to know about a particular school.
Excellent. And this is another question that I know it has come up a lot. So parents are still not sure. We do give them the option to apply for 5 schools, but do they have to apply for all 5, or can they just apply for 1 or 2 if they're sure they meet the qualifications for those?
Right. You're able to apply for up to 5 schools. So if you want to apply for only 1, that's fine. You'll still receive status. If you want to apply for 2, that's fine. You'll still receive status. If you know 2 right now that I only want to apply to these 2 schools right now, that's fine. Go ahead and put in your application. You can come back all the way up until January 31st and add additional schools if you'd like. But you are able to only have 5 active applications.
Okay, great. And this is sort of a related question, but is there any benefit to turning in your application right away or to waiting till January 31st? Is there an advantage to submitting early?
There is no advantage. We are accepting applications up until January the 31st. And you will receive a status. We will run our calculations, and within that calculation, there is no advantage of you turning in the application January 31st. Are you applying? What is it? November 12th.
Okay, great. So this is a question for OTI, and I'm not entirely sure what the question means. So maybe Nicole, maybe this means something to you. But for the OTI schools, which lottery pool is more competitive? Does that make sense to you, Nicole?
It does. And so every campus has different priorities. And so really, depending on what campus you're applying to, there are more competitive, so to speak, priorities. For example, all of our campus have an in-district priority. And so if you don't fall into a certain area of town or feeder pattern, or if you don't have a sibling, more people tend to end up in that priority. And so, if that's the only priority that you fall into for that particular school, then there may be more students that fall into that piece as well.
Okay, great. And this is
want to add to that?
Yeah, the what?
I don't know if Keisha has anything else to add to that, or is that okay?
She's shaking her head, so no.
No, I don't. That's great.
All right. So for students who are applying to the magnet programs or to any other schools that require grades or assessment results. For example, there's a parent who wants to apply for first grade, but they're in kindergarten and they don't have those results. And then there's somebody else who, I'm combining questions here. So there's somebody else who only has like the MAP test results. Are they going to be using those? How are we, I know this is a different year. So how are we handling all the testing stuff, Keisha?
I think I can.
All right. Go ahead,
or Nancy, or whoever.
So for students who do not have MAP scores, and if the student is enrolled at a Dallas ISD school, the student can request to be tested at their home campus by contacting the test coordinator or the school counselor at that school. If the student is not enrolled at a Dallas ISD school, then they can request to be tested through the Magnet School of Choice. And that first testing date will be February the 6th, but they do have to contact the Magnet School to sign up to be tested. And this is for students that are not enrolled at a Dallas ISD school. Now, our application website, on the page that requires the test scores, there is a note on that page, and it will say what grades do not need to submit test scores. If your child is applying to one of those grades that does not need to submit test scores, then in that upload option, they can upload any document just to get past that on the application page. Once they get past that and the school receives it, the school knows that those students are not required to have the MAP test. And then they'll continue with the scheduling process of scheduling the student for the assessment.
Okay. And if you're applying to a school that requires you to submit the test scores and you don't have them handy, will the application still let you proceed, or do you have to get something to put in there?
It will not let them proceed. They would have to save the application and continue at a time when they have the scores. They can also contact, if they're enrolled in Dallas ISD, they can contact the 972-925-5560 number, and we can help them with either uploading those scores or getting them a copy of those scores.
Yes, sometimes the scores thing is, especially this year, it's hard to navigate. So again, let's repeat the number, 972-925-5560. They are there today to answer your questions until 2 p.m. today, and then weekdays from 7:30 to 5. So if you do have any questions about that, we do have a group of experts that really are very helpful. So if you have any questions, don't let that question keep you from applying. Please definitely call them. I know that if you're coming in from an outside school, whether it's private or a charter school, you may have questions. We are happy to help you answer those questions and walk you through the process. So definitely make sure that you contact us. So this is a question about the dual language. I am interested in the two-way dual language program and understand that Spanish speakers are paired with English speakers. But how does it work if there are only a handful of native English speakers in the school? Does the program still work? Who from dual language wants to jump in and answer that one?
It's fine, I can answer that. Yes, ideally, we should have the same amount of English speakers and Spanish speakers. However, we can make it work because our program is based on student collaboration. So they are always working with their peers, interacting with each other and learning from each other. So it doesn't matter the number of students, in one language or the other. So throughout the program, we have a lot of components that are going to facilitate the acquirement of the language. And as I said, they are going to be interacting and learning from each other. So it's okay if we don't have an even number or balanced number in the classroom.
Okay, great. And this is actually another one for dual language. So while you're here, when it comes to taking tests, do you take them in English or Spanish? And how can I make sure that my son won't fall behind because he's learning in one language that's not his native language, but taking tests in another? I mean, like if you're an English speaker, I assume this is what they're asking. If you're an English speaker learning in Spanish, what language do you take that test in Spanish? And if so, that's not my language. So will I be falling behind? How do we make sure that that doesn't happen?
Yes, the ultimate goal of the program is that our students are bilingual and biliterate, so they will be able to take the test in either language. However, the language for the test is based on the LPAC committee decision, and teachers can always recommend what language the student will be taking the test for them to be successful.
Okay. Great.
To build a little bit on that, it really depends on the test as well. So if we're talking about STAR, if we're talking about MAP, for our students, they typically take both. And that gives us a baseline. So for MAP, for example, all of our dual language students took it both in English and Spanish. And that also gives us a baseline to see which language the students are performing more strongly in to help inform that LPAC decision long term, right? And the fear of falling behind is real. So I tried running cross country. I wouldn't say I was successful when I was in high school. And it's easy to panic when you see everyone all the way ahead of you. But really it's about pacing. So sometimes they can get the impression that their English language skills are falling behind because they're learning Spanish. But by 5th grade, it's about pacing. So there is some of that perception, but
it's not, I mean, it doesn't actually have, and we have systems in place to make sure that they are at grade level.
Right.
So that, yes, because we want them, I mean, the main goal here is that we want students to be successful. So in whatever language, we want to make sure that they get what they need.
Absolutely. And dual language does a great job of collecting data to see the performance of English dominant students in two-way dual language, Spanish dominant students in two-way dual language, and the performance is usually above district and above their peers in other classes.
Okay, great. So this is kind of a question. This is for a general question. This person's daughter is applying for a magnet school in 4th grade. So I guess on our website, they can only submit one file for their test score. Can they update the with more test scores? I mean, how would they submit more test scores? I'm not sure why they can only do one, but I don't know if you want to address that, Keisha or Nancy.
So currently they can only submit one. We are working with our with Schoolmint to allow them to submit more than one in that field. But what they can do is they can also email those scores to the school and they can upload it. So they have a different section or an additional section where they can upload documents onto that same application.
Okay, great.
Another thing that we did advise our parents is maybe taking a photo of the document side by side as a way of uploading a 2-page document.
Okay, great. So you can upload images, not just PDFs.
Images,
okay.
Yes, of course.
Great. And if I'm applying to pre-K at a pre-K program at a magnet school, but I don't make the lottery, I don't know if that's for you or for early learning, but I'm going to throw it out there. If I'm applying to a pre-K program at a magnet school, but I don't make the lottery, would that mean that I automatically get put in the pre-K program at my neighborhood school? Do I need to do anything else? Do I need to do an application later? How does that work?
So they would need to have, they would have to apply later at a traditional pre-K program. I was trying to answer one of the questions that's kind of similar to that. Yeah, so if they do not get accepted for any of the magnet or transformation schools, then after that, they will have to apply for the traditional pre-K program, which that application will be going live after the acceptance letters come in. So they will have that opportunity to do so.
Okay, great.
To kind of clarify, every family would have to go through that process that's going to be in pre-K. They will be having to apply, even though you got accepted through the magnet program or transformation program, but every family will have to go through the pre-K application process.
Right, regardless of the outcome in the application process for specialty schools, you still
Correct.
have to do some more work.
That is correct.
In the spring. Very good. So this question is for, I guess, dual language or magnets, I don't know. What if I went to apply for a dual language program at a school that's not a magnet school? Or, it's not for magnets. What if I want to apply to a dual language program that's like maybe at a neighborhood school? It's near where my mom lives and she's going to take care of my daughter after school. Do I apply now to the dual language program if it's a neighborhood school? How does that work with that application? Because we have dual language programs in a variety of schools, so.
Correct, yeah, so that's kind of the transfers that we referred to previously being a part of this application, which is brilliant. So yes, if you just go through the portal, right, you go to dallasisd.org/choose Dallas ISD. You would choose that neighborhood school that you want to apply to for dual language, and that would request a transfer.
Okay, great. There was a question earlier about that I didn't ask, but what is the difference, and I don't know who would answer this, but what is the difference between fine arts and expressive arts? I know we have those in the names of our schools. Is there a difference, or we're we just calling them that? Keisha?
There is no difference. We're just calling them that. So students have the ability to find out about the fine arts or the expressive arts. So they're both music, piano, orchestra, band, dance, all of those. And it's just the coding that's used or the label that's used for the particular school.
Okay, great. And while you're here, I'm still not really sure, other than grades, what's the difference between a magnet program and a transformation program? So I don't know if you and Nicole want to tag team this answer.
Magnet schools are schools that have eligibility criteria. So you must meet a GPA and you must meet standardized test score requirements to be able to apply. Our transformation schools do not have that eligibility. There is no academic eligibility criteria for those programs. You apply to the campus and you receive a seat based on a lottery. So hopefully that kind of helps.
Yeah, so for example, I know we have Montessori programs in the magnet schools, but we also have Montessori programs like the Downtown Montessori or Edie Walker that are part of the transformation schools. So the difference there is just the grades and the requirements for application.
Correct. There is no difference. They're the same programs. We wanted to make sure that families had the opportunity to have the same like programs in various programs. For instance, there's Montessori in Magnet, there's Montessori in OTI. So it just depends on which the family chooses.
Right, and it is the same level of excellent education in either program?
It's the same program, yes ma'am.
Yes. I don't know, Nicole, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Just, a reminder that our Montessori transformation schools, you don't have to live in the area to attend those. We provide transportation to all of our schools as long as you're living within district boundaries. And again, no academic entry requirements. You would just be in the lottery, and every campus, again, has its own priorities.
Great. And that is actually another question I was leaving for the end. But transportation, I'm surprised we didn't get it more times, because that is like a big question, because you might be applying to a school that's like clear across town and get accepted. So do most of these programs provide transportation? How does that work?
All transformation schools provide transportation.
How about the other programs?
Transportation is provided to our special programs, Magnet, OTI, Transformation. We do not provide transportation for a student transfer. So if you are wanting to attend a school that is not your neighborhood school, that is not a special program, transportation is not provided. We also do not provide transportation for out-of-district students. So those families who are accepted into the various programs from out of district would have to provide their own transportation. Okay. And that leads to another one. Out of district students can apply to all of these programs, but for magnet schools, priority is given to in-district students.
Okay, great. And so just to clarify, dual language and early childhood do not get transportation.
No, for dual language, unless there is a specialty school.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And then early childhood, Yesenia? No transportation? Unless it's a specialty school? Okay.
Correct, unless it's a specialty school.
Okay, excellent. Well, we are quickly coming to the end of this webinar, and we don't want to go too far because we do have the excellent opportunity to visit the schools with the Zoom link. I do want to remind you that we're having some of these pretty frequently until the application time. So next Saturday, we have a webinar. If you're interested in neighborhood schools, and we had a lot of questions about neighborhood schools, we are going to have information about all the programs, and not just dual language and early childhood, but athletics. We're going to have information about arts programs that are offered in neighborhood schools that are part of the transfer process. So that's why we're having that next Saturday, because this year you can apply to other neighborhood schools other than your own through the transfer process. So we wanted to get all the information. We will also have virtual open houses next Saturday for all of those schools. So it would be, if you want to explore those options, please join us next Saturday. It will be not just for elementary school, but for all grade levels. So we will have a video of this session available in the area that we're looking at now, where it says registered. That will go away, and then we will have the webinar. We'll have it here. We'll have the Spanish version in the Spanish website, which is dallasisd.org/dallasisd es para ti. So, if you want to review the information, that's definitely available. If you're interested in hearing, if you're interested in hearing some more about these programs, we have another webinar. Or if you know of someone who wasn't able to come today, we have a webinar on Wednesday, December 9th in the evening. So we'll have experts for that too. And that'll be all grade levels, so you can join us then. And you can register for next weekend's webinar or the one this Wednesday at www.dallasisd.org/choose-dallasisd. If you have any other questions about the programs, I think we got to most of the questions that weren't like super specific. So if we didn't and you want to get that question answered, please send it to choose-dallasisd@dallasisd.org or call us at 972-925-5560. Again, we're there till 2 o'clock today and weekdays from 7:30 to 5. The school open houses are getting ready to begin, and we encourage you to download the document that's on your screen right now. If you go to Choose Dallas ISD /Choose Dallas ISD right there, you'll see the Zoom links. That's the document. It's a PDF. You can download it, and then you can visit as many schools as you want between now and 2 o'clock. And again, we also encourage you to register for one of the other webinars that we're having through the end of January. If you want to get additional information, or if you know of other people, your neighbor, your cousin, your tío, your tía that's looking for things, please encourage them to join these webinars. We have great resources, all these experts answering your questions. It's great, and please do fill out the application. These are incredibly great programs. They offer opportunities that you don't get in other places outside of Dallas ISD. So we definitely want to encourage you to join us. Share with your neighbors. They might be interested in some of these programs. So please, if you have any questions, if you need anything from us, we're here to help you either by email or phone. And hopefully you'll have a great time visiting these schools and getting your questions answered. And maybe we'll see you at one of our next webinars. Thank you again to all the panelists who were here answering your questions. Thank you to all of you who joined us this morning and for being part of this webinar. And good luck with your application process. And we will see you, this year if you're already here, and next year if you're applying for the first time. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend.